the River Medway on its way to join the Thames, and right on the river banks, the Friars, a Carmelite priory first built over 700 years ago. The ancient priory was dedicated to Our Lady. Its name was the Priory of the Glorious Assumption, and Our Lady still greets you at the gates. St. Simon Stock, a man of Kent, was elected head of the Carmelites of the whole world here at Aylesford in the year 1245. Now he stands above an archway through which both friars and pilgrims pass. 50,000 pilgrims a year come to Aylesford, but they do not invade the quiet cells of the monks who live their lives here within this cloister. Pilgrims are welcomed in the guest house and in the gardens and hall, and most of all perhaps in this lovely Kentish orchard, which has been laid out as a quiet garden for meditation and prayer. These ceramics by Kosowski, the Polish artist, are based on the Rosary. In the Rosary, you meditate on the events in the life of our Blessed Lord and His Holy Mother, telling your beads as you go, and linking your reflections with the old familiar prayers of the Church. The White Friars came back to Aylesford in 1949 after an absence of 411 years, and immediately began to rebuild what had been destroyed. This new building of altar and chapels and cloisters stands just beyond the site of the earlier church. They stretch out like arms to embrace you. The cloister links the new high altar and the chapel where the monks will worship, builders like the Benedictines or the Cistercians. But at Aylesford they are tackling this enormous job themselves. There are a few skilled and trained artisans working on the site all the time. But most of the work is being done by these voluntary workers, pilgrims who've come to Aylesford not only to pray, but to build this house for God as an act of worship and of atonement. They make breeze blocks. They load them into winches and lift them high up on the walls. They mix cement. And the men who do this are solicitors and doctors and writers, and men from all the different trades. They've come here from Italy and Spain and France and Africa. And now they stand up there high on the roof, silhouetted against the sky. Some spend their holidays here, hammering nails in rafters. Others come for the odd weekend or for a couple of days. Some have been here for months. This light creamstone is Kentish ragstone, and none of it is new. Some has been recovered from the ruins here on the site of the old monastery. Other stone has been bought in from old buildings in the vicinity, and now is being faced and fitted to be planned into the new building. But wherever Christians have found themselves, their first instinct has been to build a church. So it was with Augustine at Canterbury, and Aidan at Lindisfarne, and Columba on Iona, the mystic isle. And so it was here in Kent when the White Friars came back. And now we've come back to Aylesford on this fair September morning, with a great assembly of pilgrims that seem to have overflowed into every corner of the place. The procession of friars is just leaving its priory now to make its way through the crowds of pilgrims to the new shrine chapel, as the choir sings a hymn for the ancient office of prime, now that the day star glimmers bright. It is a dramatic and a moving moment, for the friars are now passing over the actual foundations of their ancient priory, where 700 years ago their forefathers lived and worshipped God. Now they make their way to the new altar that they are building for the Mass. White friars they are called because of the white cloak which covers their brown habits and crowns. The white friars are the Carmelites here, the black friars are the Dominicans, and the grey friars are the Franciscans. And they've all left their names and their memories all over the country. Now the white friars are here again, working for God and his people. The cross leads, and then comes first the young novices and students, and then the priests. And finally comes the celebrant, the prior, with his two assistant ministers. The Mass this morning differs in some small details from the Mass in most Catholic churches today. It is in the Jerusalem Rite, from the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. For the first Carmelites were hermits who lived lives of prayer and self-denial on the slopes of Mount Carmel. And when a group of them came to England in 1240, driven out by the gains of the Saracens, they brought with them their ancient Jerusalem Rite. The Mass this morning will be the Mass of the Resurrection. In a Carmelite church, one Mass each Sunday may be sung in honor of the resurrection of Christ from the dead. The prior himself celebrates Mass this morning, and now, as he approaches the foot of the altar with his ministers to begin the confession, the choir begins the introit. I have risen, and I am with you still. Resurrexi. As he comes to the altar for the first time, he kisses it out of reverence to the altar and for the saints whose relics are buried there. And now he puts incense onto the burning coals, and he prepares to incense the